Many children, especially struggling readers, forget what they've learned or spill out of practice when they're out of class for the summer. The 13 News Now reporter Adriana de Alba joins us now to explain one school district's plan to fight the summer slide. Adriana?
That's right, David. Research shows that students who read and learn during the summer are more successful academically. And one summer program in Suffolk is finding a creative way to help at-risk students stay on the right track.
At Mac Ben Junior Elementary, school leaders have found a way to bridge reading and fun.
Him beside me feel like a stuffed animal.
I figured probably nice and warm.
Like a pillow. When I read, I wasn't scared.
Here, students feel at ease, and it's all a part of the Suffolk school system's LEAP program. The Learning and Engagement Academic Program is meant to prevent this summer slide.
Students who do not attend summer school lose 1 month of education per year. So overall, over their 12 years of education, they're actually a year behind academically.
LEAP focuses on academics and enrichment.
I don't know what that word is.
Oh, guinea pigs.
As they focus on reading and math, educators track each student's progress from the beginning to the end of the program.
It's important for these students to have access to education. Instead of staying at home in front of the computer or in front of the TV, they're here, they're active, their brains are engaged.
And libraries are also a great resource for kids to retain their knowledge through those summer months. Each Hampton Road city has a summer reading program through public libraries. Live in the studio, Adriana de Alba, 13 News Now.